Hey everybody, Cliff Barron from Remax here with my weekly update for Milton, Georgetown, and Glen Williams for the week of October 11th to the 17th. Before I get there, last week I talked about waiving the home inspection as part of when you're in a multiple offer situation to give yourself a better chance of getting winning the bidding. But I forgot to mention, I know there's a lot of new agents that follow me on here, and so I want to say something to make sure everybody's covered. One thing you should do when you're presenting an offer, when you're writing up an offer for your clients, you should always include the home inspection and the financing clause, and then cross it out and have it initialed by your clients, just so that they can acknowledge that they're fully aware of the risks they're taking in waiving the home inspection, and you don't want that coming back on you just in case they buy the house and then there is problems. You never know, because there could be, like I said in the video. And you don't want them coming back saying, "Hey, you never told us that we waived our home inspection. We didn't know that." But if it's crossed out and initialed by your clients, then it's obvious that you've had that conversation with them and you're good. So, anyways, this week I wanted to talk about finishing your basement. I get that. I've had that question all the time. Is it worth it? Does it add value to the home? Is it worth doing it? So there's a few things. There's a popular show on TV where they're always putting an income suite into a basement, and they say, "Oh, we'll spend $50,000 on it," and then mysteriously this agent comes in and says your house is now worth $100,000 more. But I'm going to be perfectly honest with you, it's not true. A lot of the times, you'll put $50,000 into finishing your basement as an income suite, and then when you go to sell it, if you're going to sell it immediately, you might profit a little bit, but most likely not double, because you got to think you're going to cut out a lot of potential buyers. A lot of potential buyers don't want another family in their basement. If they're single family home, they want their kids to enjoy the basement, or they want to finish it the way they want it. That's one thing to keep in mind. And then secondly is finishing your basement to sell a home to try and get more for the sale. It's not really going to happen. A rule of thumb is whatever is below grade is worth a third above grade. So, in other words, if you have, say, a 2,000 square foot home and you have about a maybe 800 square foot basement, that's equivalent to about maybe 250 square feet above grade. So you've turned your 2,000 square foot home into a 2,200 square foot home. So you've increased the value a little bit, but you've probably increased the amount you just spent on your basement, to be honest. So that's one thing to keep in mind. But one thing it does do, actually, I'll tell you a story. I've had clients in the past where I've talked to them on the phone, before texting, all that sort of stuff, when we used to talk on the phone. And I always do a rundown before I meet them, and I say, "So what kind of finishes do you have in your house? What kind of upgrades?" And they say, "Oh, I have a finished basement." Now, immediately I think, okay, that adds a little bit of value. And then I go see the house, and occasionally I've seen it where it's the homeowners that's finished it. And it's so bad that it actually has to be ripped out and done again. I remember I walked into it and the ceiling actually got lower the further you walked. So, and the homeowner was very proud of the work he'd done. He'd done it all himself, you could tell. So that, he's probably spent about maybe $20,000 of his own money, of his own labor and money working on it. But in the end, that was actually a negative, because they had to spend maybe $2,000-3,000 in bin rentals and everything to dispose of all of it and do it over again. So that wasn't a good situation. But I've had a few where clients have done their basement themselves. I had one recently where they did a phenomenal job, and it was better than almost most contractors I've seen. But what it does is, if you can do it at a great price, you're okay. But he did it himself, which was really fortunate, because he was very skilled at it. But if you can't do it yourself, then you're basically going to break even. But what it does do is it helps to sell the house faster. But here's the point: all you got to do is make sure you put a 3-piece bathroom in your basement: a shower, a bath, a toilet, and a sink. You need that, because in the future they're going to need that. If there's ever an in-law coming in or anything like that, a bedroom suite in the basement, then they're going to need that. And one thing to think about too, though, the way things are going right now, prices going up and up and up, there's a chance basement apartments might become valuable, because over time, if it keeps going up as the way it is, people are going to need helpers in the basement, to help pay the mortgage, basically. So that's one thing to consider. But as of now, they don't really add a lot of value. Basically, whatever money you put in, you're going to get out, but you're going to go through the dust and the dirt and the grind, and everything to get it all ready. So anyways, in a nutshell, I wouldn't recommend it to to add value. But if you want to sell that house faster, it's a good way to do it. But you got to do all that prep to get to that point. Anyways, so off to the sales for Milton and Georgetown and Glen Williams for October 11th to 17th. Things are still good, still busy. We're still up over last year. 2019, last year, 26 sales. This year, 43. And we're slowing down a little bit. Last week there was 48 sales, but that's typical this time of year. After Thanksgiving, you get close to Halloween, things start to slow down a little bit. There was 26 detached sold, 11 townhouses, and 5 semis. The detached were 1.174 on average in 12 days on the market. 11 towns, they've gone up a lot. 789 on average, 4 days on the market. And 5 semis, 840 on average in 6 days on the market. As you can see, things are still moving well, but I can feel it slowing a little bit, and that's judging by my listings and the number of showings. They're starting to slow down a little bit, but that could be a factor of time of year. Prices have gone so much that it's buyers fatigue, and they're sort of saying, I'm going to take a break for a while. That's a possibility too. And then we get to Georgetown and Glen Williams. There was 19 sales the past week as opposed to 14 last year. And actually, Georgetown has kind of stayed busier than Milton. Last week there was 20 sales, this week 19, so it hasn't slowed as much as Milton. And then 15 detached, 1.016 on average, 7 days on the market, and 4 towns at 697, 7 days on the market. So basically, prices they're still improving a little bit, but not as much as they were, which is good, because we don't want it going up too quick, because whatever goes up real quick comes down real quick. So it'd be a nice steady growth would be good. So that's it. Any questions, let me know. Hopefully this information is handy for you, and hopefully you got to the end of the video. Anyways, any questions, let me know. Thanks, and take care.